Hi, this is Analytics, and welcome to another lesson. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts or questions in the comments. Let's get started. For this video, we are going to use this file right here, employees_list. I'm going to open it in Excel. This is the table I'm going to work with. This is this is a record of employees of a given company, and there's a lot of information right here. We're not going to use all this in this lesson, but first off, let's bring it into Power Query. You already know how to do it, and the Power Query editor is going to open up. But right now, well, look, I have the changed type step that was created automatically. And for this example in this lesson, it's not going to be a problem. I want to pick the columns with date. So look, HireDate was supposed to be date or date and time, and Power Query made them whole numbers. I don't want them to be whole numbers, so I'm going to select the first column and then hold Shift and select the second column. And in transform, I want the data type to be date time. Okay, I'll add a new step. There you go. And there's yet another column that I want to use. The last one, this is a column that I added only for the examples in this lesson, and I didn't rename it. It was the automatic name that Power Query gave this column. It's okay, it's not a problem. It's already marked as date time, so I'm going to select this column and then the other two columns with dates, HireDate and BirthDate. So I'm going to hold Control and then select these additional columns, and then in the Home tab, I'm going to click Remove Other Columns. I only need these ones because in this lesson, we're going to study all the features that Power Query offers you to work and calculate dates. I'm going to start selecting this first column, birth date. And look, when I select birth date, if I click the Transform tab, I will have this little panel right here with three main buttons. And you will see that from these three main buttons, one of them is disabled because my column data type is date and time. It has nothing to do with duration. So if I change the data type and select duration, now the duration button gets enabled, but then I'm getting an error because the date I had in the column was not suitable for being changed into duration. We'll work with duration in a few seconds, so I would just remove this last step. This was just to show you that in Power Query, the buttons, not only on this panel right here, but all the buttons in Power Query, they will get enabled or disabled according to the context of your data. So only the buttons that make sense to your current data will be enabled for use. Now I have a column. The column that I selected is a date and time data type. Okay, so let's start using the date button. If I click the down arrow, I'll see that I have lots of functionalities of choices here. Let's start working with the date only. If I click date only, the time will be removed and I will be left only with the date only, which is the same as if I just changed the data type to date. So the time will be removed. I will be left only with date. Let me remove the last step and let's see another button, year. So there's a lot of similar choices over these options right here. They are quite similar. So let's start with year. If I want to remove the year from the column, actually, if I want to remove everything else and leave only the year, I will click year and only the year is going to be left. If I want to, for example, the start of the year, look, in my first row, I have April 18, 1961. So what is the start of the year? The year starts on January 1st, 1961. So if I click start of year, it will return January 1st, 1961. But look, be careful, because if I use this other option right here, end of year. So the end of year was supposed to be, I'm focusing on my first row, of course. It was supposed to be December 31, 1961. But if I click end of year, it's going to give me January 1st, 1962. So be careful, because sometimes you could get a result that's different from the one you were expecting. How can I solve this problem? Okay, let me remove the last step. And before I choose end of year, I'm going to select date only. Now I have only the date and not the time. And now I'm going to select end of year. And now I have the right date, which was supposed to be December 31, 1961. Okay, so be careful about it. And now the same idea goes for month. I can have the start of the month. I'm working with April, so the beginning of April was supposed to be April 1st, 1961. Let's click start of month. Okay, April 1st, 1961. And you can see the idea behind most of these choices here. You can get the name of the month, April, August, February, and you can, this is an interesting one, the days in month. I'm going to click days in month. And okay, this column has the same dates as this column, so I can use it for comparison. And look, April actually has 30 days. August actually has 31 days. February has 28 days in 1965, but in 1968, February had 29 days. So it's a very smart calculation. And let's see, the same idea goes to quarter and to week. For example, you want the week of the year or week of the month. Very easy. And let me see, you can try the other options. They're all very similar. The same idea goes to each of them. The earliest day and the latest day, these will both give you aggregations. Okay, if you still don't know what is aggregation, please, we have a video explaining in detail what is aggregation, what is grouping, and what is iteration. These are three concepts that we need to know from now on. So please go back. If you haven't watched those videos yet, they are on our list. So please refer to those videos so you can understand the concepts. And the earliest and latest dates will be aggregation. So if I click earliest, it'll give me from this column that's selected, it will find the oldest day, and it will return me just a scalar value for the last date, for the oldest date, which is November 1st, 1930. But if I chose transform, I will click the birth date column, and if I chose the latest, it will give me the last date, the closest date, which is January 7, 1981. And I can also use the age option, and this is very interesting because this is going to give me the interval between the day, the dates in the column, and the current date, the current time. Today I'm recording this video on May 5, 2023, so it is going to calculate the interval between each date in this column, the column that is selected, and today and the current date, which is May 5, 2023. If I just click age, it's going to calculate this interval. And now the interval is going to be returned in a duration format. So now you can see that the duration button became enabled and the other two were disabled. And automatically the data type became a duration data type. It returned me the difference between each date in the column and today, the day I'm recording this video. And the format is a duration format. And the duration format will give me the number of days, then the number of hours, minutes, and seconds. These numbers are all round numbers. I only have zeros for hours, minutes, and seconds because my original data, let me bring it back to date and time. My original data was all based on 12 a.m. I have no minutes or seconds in this column, and that's why I have this column right here. In this column, additional column, I have different hours and minutes and seconds. So I'm going to do the same here, and I'm going to click age. Now I have the interval in days, hours, minutes, seconds, and actually milliseconds. And I can run many different calculations on it based on the options that this button will give me. Look, I can extract only the days. In this example, I will have 23,393 days, or I could extract only the hours. In this case, I have 1 hour in the first row. And there you go. and I could extract only the minutes, 14 minutes. I'm using the first row as a reference. And from now on, you can start messing around with all of these choices here. And you also can multiply, for example, if you want to multiply all of these values, all of these durations by a given number, you can just select the number. For example, I want to multiply it by 10, and okay, and I'll have the calculation done, and I can use, I can divide it. Okay, let's divide it by 10, and I will get back to the numbers I had before, and the statistics will give me the aggregations, and I can, for example, use the average, and will return me scalar value. And there's a lot I can do using these choices. Of course, I've been using all these choices in the transform tab, but I could do it all using the add column tab too. Only the difference is that instead of changing the original data with the new data, I'm going to create a new column with the changed data and not change the original column. And now let's actually add a new column and create an interval and calculate. We'll create a new calculated column, and this calculated column will return me the difference between the birth date and the hire date. I will just remove this additional column. I don't need it for this example. Let's remove it. What I want now is calculate the difference between the hire date and the birth date. So it will return me the age of each employee at the moment they were hired. Okay, so that's what I actually want to calculate. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a new column. We have added calculated columns before in other videos, and I'm going to use a custom column. I'm going to call it age at hire, and I'm just going to select the hire date and subtract the column date. It's a double click to select the column, hit OK, and now I have a new column with the difference. I have to change the data type, and of course I want the duration. The interval is supposed to be a duration for me. I want the difference in days, and now I can calculate if this duration, if this difference, if I want it as a difference in days, or if I want it in, let me select the original data. Maybe I want it in years, total years. It's going to be years in a decimal format. For example, this first employee, it was hired when it was 42.2 years old. Of course, it doesn't make sense, 42.2 years old, so I can round this number and make it a whole number. So there's many ways in which we can work with intervals since we start working with duration. So there's a lot of calculations we can run with the duration data type. So if you liked this video, please don't forget to subscribe, share this content with your friends that want to learn Power Query and Power BI, and leave a comment below. It's going to help us reach more and more people, and see you in the next video.